All right, welcome guys. Bodybuilder in Thailand.com here with Vigorous Steve. I'm in the Philippines, he's in Thailand. So Coach Steve, you guys know him from some of Dr. Tony Hughes' videos. And today we're going to be talking about training intensity because this is something that Steve and I have trained together quite a bit and, been in the same gym training. And we both feel that training intensity and the effort that you put into your workouts is something that a lot of people can step up to improve their game and take themselves to their potential. So, Steve, I want to just hear your general thoughts a little bit on what you think about that.
Well, the intensity is something you got to learn over time. So you see, of course, there's going to be more beginners in the gym than actually veterans because, the longer you're in the sport, the more people fall off. And as you progress in the sport, you need to increase your training intensity. Not only the weights, because at one point the weights are going to be so heavy that you risk injury, and then it's more about increasing the intensity or decreasing the rest time in between sets, or and of course making sure that you can recover from all those crazy workouts with the proper nutrition. But the intensity is something you learn over time. So when you first go to the gym, a lot of people they go through the motion, right? They move a weight from A to B,
Yeah.
and then hopefully they get some sort of contraction out of it. And then maybe a year later they finally learn how to isolate that muscle. And then maybe 3 years later they finally learn how to isolate that muscle regardless of weight. And that's where the intensity comes from. So ideally at that point you want to have a weight that's heavy enough that you feel the first rep you already feel that hypertrophy stimulus.
Okay.
And the way you do that, let's say with squats, you go with 3 plates. That's usually pretty heavy for people. And then that first rep, already feels like a 12th rep on a 1 plate.
Because
right?
of the way that you're keeping the tension on the muscle. That's what you're saying, right?
Right, exactly. So, and then you do it for a couple reps, of course, and that's what the real hypertrophy comes from. But I think a lot of people in the beginning, they don't really know how to do that, so they need 12 reps, and the 10th, 11th, and 12th rep is like, oh, that's where they get the hypertrophy from.
Okay.
But when you learn how to contract the muscle in a good way with a decent amount of weight, then that first rep is already the same as the 12th rep when you did it a couple of years before.
Yeah. So what you're saying, it's just making me think that, like, you're talking about a compound movement, but you're talking about doing the compound movement using that target muscle, and then
Right.
like the secondary muscles actually are secondary rather than just
Right.
everything working to move the weight.
Exactly. So a lot of you see, that's why a lot of people begin with that 5x5 program, just moving weight, right? You incrementally build your weight up, a progressive overload, and you get more muscles from that. But you don't really isolate muscles. That's later on when you work up your way to heavy weights and you start to do a real bodybuilder routine. You place your toes and your ankles and your knees and your hips at a certain position that you can isolate your quads the best you can, and then you use that heavy weight that you worked your way up to doing a 5x5 program to kick ass.
Yeah.
and really bring that intensity. And it's something that's very difficult to put into words. It's actually just something you have to do at the gym. With a couple of years of training, you mentally prepare yourself for that set. And what I do is that I aim for a target amount of reps, let's say 6 or 9 or whatever, 4. And then you go to that, I'm going to get 6 no matter what. And sometimes it's light. So you say, fuck it, I'm going to do 3 more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go all out. And then you don't even see 3 more, but because maybe 3 is not enough, maybe you get 3 even more. So you set your mind to 6, which actually got 12. Right? But in that set you gave everything. You wouldn't be able to do 1 more rep.
Yeah. Yeah. When you
So,
say gave everything too, that means that, like, if your mother was on the train tracks or something, right? Like you've already spent that energy.
yeah, no, you're done. So, and then usually, if you do maybe 2 sets per exercise like that, you're done. You're done. Aaron Reed, the super tall bodybuilder guy,
Yeah.
he does 1 set. Okay, it's a super long 4-minute drop set, But that's all I need. And some people need 3 sets to get that 4 minutes done, right? Because in the end, time under tension is very relevant. You combine it with heavy weight and intensity, and that's how you create the ultimate hypertrophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like taking it to like you're done like that, how do you do that? Because I see a lot of people, most people in the gym, they're working, and then they start to feel really tired, and maybe they can't like finish the rep like with a full range of motion, but
Yeah.
they never really look like they're getting to that level of struggle that I've seen you have in the gym,
Yeah.
where all your veins are popping out, and
Yeah.
it just looks like you're going ballistic.
Cialis. Cialis.
There's a difference there.
You can say that because you're right. Well, so again, that's something you have to learn. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years since I was 15, and I'm almost coming into 35 now. So, over time, you learn to bring that intensity. And for me, when I was 16 or 17, somebody gave me the Guts DVD. So that's how you think you have to train, from the beginning, the Dorian Yates Blood and Guts DVD.
Oh yeah.
So we started like that, like a crazy person, basically, from the beginning. And we didn't even know anything about periodization or taking some time off. So we would just go crazy in the gym trying to emulate Dorian Yates because he was super big. That's how he trained. So that's how we thought we should train. And of course, later that changed a little bit over time as you learn more different training techniques, like Dante Trudell's dock wrap or fortitude training, or just doing high volume in the Joe Weider, principles.
Yeah.
But we got exposed to that kind of training from the beginning. So even though it took a few years before we actually could train that way, the way Dorian Yates or Dante Trudell trained in dock wrap, that's what we aimed for. But I think a lot of people nowadays, they don't really have that, because you see a lot of the training footage of all the pros, and they make it look so easy. They don't really push, and especially the pros that are impressive. I mean, there's a very big genetic response there, right? A very genetic component. So, yeah, okay, when I see Rami train 5 plates on the squat, it looks fucking easy. I know it's not. But I think a lot of people that begin with the sport, and the newbies in the sport, they'll think, okay, well, I'll just move the weight up and down. I won't get 5 plates, but maybe 1 or 2. And that's when my set are done. But you're not Rami or Ronnie or whoever. So you got to, you're probably genetically average, and you got to take that set all the way to the moon and back for you to get a similar response in hypertrophy.
Yeah.
And it's something you got to learn. So you can't go under the bar, maybe the first 2 years and take that set all the way to failure. And then, especially with compound movement, people are scared to get buried.
Yeah.
Right? So
Gotta be
we were
careful.
never scared. Yeah, we were never scared to get buried. Even when I first started squatting when I was 16, I was not afraid to get buried. We got buried all the time. Yeah, just
Dangerous.
no, but we did it in the squat rack, or we had a spotter, and then we used the belt, and then our structures were so small that belt goes all the way to the last bucket, last belt bucket. But we did it. We did 2 plates all the way to the end, and we got buried all the time.
Yeah.
We were not afraid of it. We thought that was normal.
Okay.
That was a real failure, because you get buried and you that's failure.
Yeah, if you get buried, that is very high intensity training, because that's taking it basically past your body's ability
Right.
to keep itself upright.
Right. So you got buried. You put the bar all the way down at the pins, and then you take the weight off. You put it back, and then you do another set. But I don't see anybody doing that. Maybe in Thailand nobody trains crazily, or Instagram has ruined it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because everybody on Instagram is doing perfect sets, perfect easy sets with no strain in their face and no noise, because it doesn't look cool.
Do you think that somebody who trains this way, like with this more intense manner in the gym, will be able to rely less on bodybuilding supplements in order to like take their physique to a higher level?
Well, in the end, you can create a certain amount of stimulation from training, right? And then that stimulation, in my opinion, the bigger you get, the stimulation needs to increase. That's where you get the muscle from. A lot of people nowadays think they have to up the dose to get bigger, which in certain aspect is full, but you don't have to look at, I want to get bigger, so up the dose. No, you increase the training intensity, which I need to recover from. So I might increase the dose on that, or I got bigger so I can increase the dose to sustain that amount of muscle mass. So it's like I got more muscle, so I increase the dose a little bit to sustain it. Instead of I want to build more muscle, I increase the dose and I let my muscle follow into it. It's a different mindset. It's a different mindset.
Yeah, that actually makes me think of before what you were talking about how many sets does it take to get that stimulation, because really I think that most people are doing too many sets and burying themselves in recovery, because you know, though you have to be making some kind of progress from workout to workout, like shortening the time, you know, upping the weight, just do, you know, time under tension, or shortening the rest. And if you're not doing any of those things, a lot of times it's because these people are, you know, going into the gym and they just keep on going with the heavy set after heavy set after heavy set. I mean, that's going to take me like 2 weeks to 10 days to recover from.
Oh, yeah, and they're in the gym for 2 hours, bullshitting in between, you know, and because they want to take adequate rest for maximum weight, because they think it's, you know, you got to do the super weight with, you know, half reps, half reps to get that. Yeah, it's, you know, it's. I think a lot of people, it depends on what you're exposed to, and I see a lot of people, they don't go for extra information, maybe get it online, get it from a coach, or you know, whatever. I try to look for extra information that you don't find in the gym. So a lot of people just look around. I look around. I said, okay, that guy is doing it that way, so they copy it. But they don't have they can't copy the intensity, because that's something you learn. So when somebody sees me train in the gym and I do 6 reps with a 50 kilo dumbbell, what's it, 110 pounds, 115 pounds, right? So I do it in a way, it looks, you know, the same as anybody else does it, but my way, the way I move my hands, you know, I go incline, I go a little bit out, so I create a super contraction, basically, compared to doing an ordinary dumbbell press. So my elbows are in a certain position, my shoulders retracted back. I do a very fast explosive positive and a super slow negative, you know, so it's maybe half a second up and a 4-second down. So when people look at that, say, oh, I got to do this heavyweight 50 kilo 6 reps. First of all, they don't do a full rep, and they don't do the reps that they're intended to do. So if you do 6 reps and I do a 5-second per rep, that's a 30-second time under tension, right? So which is for me.
When you say that, they are saying, I got to get 6 reps no matter what, and that's their focus with the set, correct?
Yeah.
Getting those 6 reps.
Right. 6 reps, but I just, you know, if I get 7, okay. Sometimes I get 5, but in the end, it's about the perfect execution and that intensity. And in the end, your muscle fails, it's done. It doesn't matter how many reps you got. And you got to remember, a lot of people. So for me, I'm dieting right now. So 6 reps, that's all the ATP I got. That's all the ATP I have in my body. But you know, Aaron, for example, who was here and not dieting, eating a ton of carbs, he's got enough ATP for maybe 30 reps.
I saw him a few times come home with like 30 donuts from Dunkin' Donuts and eat them at night.
Right, so that's also something you got to factor in. I mean, I tried to train like that for a while, and I couldn't do it. I didn't enjoy it, and that's also important. I mean, you still got to enjoy your workout, because otherwise you go to the gym, it's like a punishment, you know. Fuck, it should be something fun. So you know, I enjoy to bring that crazy intensity, you know, perfect form, perfect reps. And for me, I just go on a rep-by-rep basis. So I try to do a perfect rep, and then I do another one. I don't aim for, I got to get 10 reps, and then the 11th and 12th I fail, and that's my set. No, I want to do every rep perfectly, and then I have a perfect set, right, a combination of perfect reps. And then if I get let's say 12 perfect sets in a workout, man, I go home and I'm exhilarated and I'm like, fuck, that was a good workout, and I go have some protein and carbs, and I'm super happy with myself.
Yeah.
It's a combination of reps, the whole workout, because every rep counts.
So I'm interested in like the mindset, or like the how to produce a lot of effort. What really changed things for me was that I started thinking about my workouts the way that I would think about when I was playing competitive sports. So I used to do my workouts, and it would be more like I'd be in the gym and I'd have a mental mindset like, well, when the muscle stops working, it stops working, and that's it. But then I changed my mindset to more of the way that I used to feel when I was playing sports. I used to play American football, and basically when I would tackle someone, or if I'd have the ball and I'd be trying to like run through someone, there was a certain feeling and like mental state that I had to have, where it wasn't where I was thinking like, okay, well, I either tackle him and he runs and he breaks my tackle and he runs through me, or not. I was thinking like, I have to take him down, and I'm going to. That was the only thought going through my head. And when I hit them, I have to make a sound like, because I was very exhilarated and having a lot of effort like that and trying my hardest. I would always make like a huh, like noise or whatever, right? Or when I'd go through someone, it was just instinctive. If I was running with the ball and they'd hit me, I'd be like, ah. Some kind of noise would always come out as I would be exerting myself to that maximum level.
Right. Well, I do it subconsciously. I mean, we got that rule at the Muscle Factory, right? Grunting is allowed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that on the wall.
Right. So, I mean, I like it. I mean, it's just another way to kind of release the tension. And also because a lot of people, I think they hold their breath when they do sets, which increases your blood pressure. Okay, from an increased blood pressure, you get a little bit more strength benefit. But when you exhale, okay, you don't build up that blood pressure, but you also get a strength benefit just from a release of I don't know, pressure, basically. Right? That's why you grunt a little bit or make some noise. It's a buildup of pressure, and you release it. And you do that every rep. Okay, you want to keep the tension on the muscle, but you don't want to keep the tension on your blood vessels. And by grunting or making some noise while you work out, you definitely reduce your blood pressure. You can feel that, especially when you do leg press. Leg press is the worst for blood pressure. So a lot of people, when they hold their breath in the last couple of reps, they get a tomato face. But if you just release, through by grunting, you don't get it.
Yeah.
In the end, the high blood pressure is what's going to do your kidneys in. That's scary.
Well, what's like a piece of advice that you could give people to produce the kind of intensity that you feel is necessary to reach like your full potential? And guys, I can vouch for this, that I've seen Steve train, and the kind of intensity that he's producing is maximum. And he knows what he's talking about here. So listen carefully to what he says.
Yeah, how to? That's the hard part about intensity. It's very difficult to kind of tell people how to bring that up. It's something you have to learn, and you just gotta mentally prepare yourself. Say, listen, every perfect rep that I do is going to give me a certain amount of hypertrophy and extra muscle mass in a week. So the better I do it, the more muscle I'm going to gain, if my recovery is there. So how to transfer it? I mean, you just go to the gym and you kick ass, and you don't go home until you feel you've kicked enough ass. Mm-hmm. All right, that's why it's so hard to talk about intensity, because it's you learn it over time. So somebody that's been in the gym for 10 or 15 years, you see, they train a lot differently and bring a whole different mental game to the gym than a beginner.
This might help us put it into words better. Is I I've seen you speaking to people in the gym, but then
Hmm.
you have like a bit of a mode that you can snap into where you
Yeah,
start your set. And I can tell that your mental state is completely different than it was,
yeah,
2 seconds prior to that when
yeah.
you had a smile on your Facebook screen and you were talking to someone. How do you get into that? How do you do that so quickly?
I think that has to do with some aggression because especially for the weights we're using, and I mean it hurts. Let's be honest. That going to good hypertrophy hurts in the muscle because you have to traumatize it in order to make it grow. So that's some aggression or insanity that you have bundled up somewhere, and it's in a special compartment somewhere in your head,
Okay.
and it's kind of like Bruce Banner in the Hulk. You keep it locked up, and then when you do your set, you release it until the set is done. And I think also, sorry, it's something that also have to learn because it's similar to meditation, right? When you meditate, you let go of everything. And you don't think about anything, and that organizes your thoughts. And with training, there's some aggression or insanity in the back of your head, which you keep bundled up all day, and then you go to the gym and you release that during your set. And you can. A lot of people use the term, going to war on their muscle, right? Everybody has their own reasoning. I mean, I don't use it. I just see it as more like a therapy, you
Uh,
know. So that's and you go from being a normal person, and when you know it's ready to do your set, you release that. You get your 6, 9, 12, whatever reps in, and then that all that bundled up energy should be gone because you use that to contract the muscle way beyond what it wants you to do because your muscle is after 2 reps like fuck you, I'm done, and then your brain is like no, 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 we're gonna get 10 more.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And that's where the pain comes from. And you kind of disconnect from that body. It's weird because you want to disconnect from the pain, but you want to connect with the contraction. So you're getting very weird signals between your brain and that muscle that you're training, because the muscle is telling you stop. It hurts. I'm getting lactic acid buildup, bro. Let me go. I'm done. But you're trying to contract it the hardest part you possibly can with a certain amount of aggression because the weight you're using is quite high. So it's like a little conflict.
Yeah, it almost sounds like, something kind of deep, like being in touch with yourself mentally.
Hmm.
And, that animal side that we all have, but a lot of us are not aware of that existing within us, where, it's a less human bit of you and more of just this natural side of you that most people keep that suppressed all the time.
Yeah. No, I know. Or they let it go when they're on alcohol. They drink something and
Yeah,
then
that. Yeah.
it's gone. I know if I get hit in the head, and usually it's my own fault. I hit my head in the cupboard. It gets released like this, and then I try my best to hold it because normally you would release it in a workout. But if I hit my head on a cupboard, I go from 0 to 1,000 on an aggression level, um, just like that. And then normally I would do weights, but when you're at home, the only thing you can really do is try to breathe or throw some plates on the floor to release it. It's similar. It's a bundled up thing inside, and bodybuilders are usually very calm people because 5 6 times a week we get to release all that craziness in the gym. And I think normal people that don't really go to the gym, they go drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, and then that's their way to or release, or that bundled up aggression gets released on somebody else, in the club. Oh, you stepped on my shoes. Oh, that's their that's how they release it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas bodybuilders, that's where we're also mellow and chill, and okay, we get aggressive on a diet and trenbolone and hill tests and all that bullshit. But most of the time, I mean, we're super mellow because every day we get an hour of release, and then we get hypertrophy as a result.
That made it a lot more clear. This last bit that you're talking about giving these examples, you know, with hitting your head or whatever, and then that immediate feeling that encompasses you right after that. I'm understanding a lot
Same
more
thing.
now what's going through your
Yeah.
head now, and how
At
you
least,
can switch
yeah.
quickly.
Right. So at least for me, that's the case because I'm not a super mellow guy. I can get quite aggressive sometimes, but I just use that for the gym. And I noticed it. So when I hit my head or in traffic, you're driving motorbike and something pisses you off, you go to 1,000 also. But yeah.
Happens a lot in Thailand.
Oh, let's not get started about traffic here. So, but normally I just keep it and you release it in the gym, and I think it's very similar just to being like aggressively stimulated. But I turn it into something positive, and that's hypertrophy. And I don't feel aggressive when I'm training, but I bring a certain I see it as intensity. I do my set, and then you make some noise on during your set, and after that you're totally fine.
Yeah, well, I've
But
seen that because you switch. It's like what you said, the Bruce Banner and the Hulk. You'll be
right,
smiling, joking around 1 minute, but then the next second you're a different person. Literally, you're a
yeah,
different person.
yeah, it's weird because you tap in something that's not very nice. I know it's not nice. It's not something that you want to show to people outside of the gym.
Mhm.
And the good thing about the gym is you do it to yourself, right? But I'm sure if you've been young in stupid situations, and you tap into that aggression somewhere outside of the gym, it doesn't end well. It doesn't end well, and whether that's in a bar or in traffic or somebody pisses you off somewhere, and then unfortunately you go from 0 to 1,000 outside as well. So I'd rather release that in the gym and then feel a little bit more at ease. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's basically my where my intensity comes from, and I know other people that don't have that at all. They just see it as a I don't know. They don't bring an aggression into it. They're more at bliss when they do it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, I mean, I got my music on my Swedish death metal. I have no idea what they're saying. They're grunting way too much, but it brings me into the zone. Yeah, yeah, I love it. And then after that, I'm totally fine. I feel good. I got some dopamine and endorphins running through my body, and I go home and I feel relaxed. But I know if I don't go to the gym for the week, you kind of have that. I don't know, that something in the back of your head that I gotta let it go.
Yeah.
And for sure, 20 years ago when I started training, I didn't have that. I think it's something I kind of taught myself. You know, whatever's going on, you just bundle it up and you release it at the gym. And you don't train for a week or 2 weeks, man, that it starts to release somewhere else.
Hmm. I'm sure that training around other experienced bodybuilders. I know that you've worked with a lot of
Yeah.
high level bodybuilders can help you to kind of learn that too. Because if there's one thing that I've noticed as I've gained more experience in life, is to always
Hmm.
seek out people who are, if I want to get good at something, always seek out people who are better than me and be around them. And
That
it
helps a lot.
really
Yeah.
helps me.
That helps everybody. Because you got to learn from people who are more advanced, right? And I learn from people that are way more knowledgeable than I am, and then you try to pass that along to other people. And it's that's the weird thing again about training intensity. I mean, it's you got to be there to kind of experience it. So that's why I always tell bodybuilders to sign up at gyms where there are other bodybuilders. Don't go to a Planet Fitness or True Fitness,
Yeah.
Fitness First, because you're not surrounded by that mentality. You got to see that around you, And the Muscle Factory, there's a couple animals in there. Yeah, so when I train, they train, or you meet each other once in a while, and you kind of feed off that,
Yeah.
off that positive energy and that knowledge, and you can discuss things. Or let's say you do a set of squats, and it's heavy, and you want to get 8 reps, but you feel a little bit tired, and you doubting yourself you're going to get 6, and then you get that other big dude that you respect, and he trains balls to the wall, you're going to get 10 reps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right. But you get any other dude from the gym, some skinny fuck that can barely hold the weight, you're going to get 4 reps. because you feed off. There's nothing to feed off.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that
'Cause the-
competitive, that natural masculine competitiveness that we have inside of us that can
Right.
help us tap into that part of our minds where you do what you don't believe you could, or you didn't know that you could do it.
Right, exactly. And it's not really for competitive because when my wife trains, I mean, I don't compete with her, but I respect her. She trains like an animal too. So when she gives me a spot, I get more reps.
Okay.
I get more reps because I know that she's in there to get it. You know, she's in there to get first. So that you feed off that energy. And you know, when Aaron was there in the gym, and when you're there, you just train harder because there's more big dudes or more people in there trying to get theirs. That's why I think like a Kuwait Oxygen Gym or a Venice Golds. I mean, everybody's in there kicking ass. So you go there, you're not going to slip.
No way.
You're
No
not going to
way.
slip a rep in, you know. That's why I always sign up with gyms where there's big dudes and then people training super hard, because that's motivating. And I would tell everybody to sign up in a gym also because, you know, I coach a couple people and they're like the biggest dude in the gym, and then at one point they don't have anything to feed off.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I've had it a couple times too here in Thailand. You walk in any gym, you're the biggest dude, and it just doesn't motivate you. Because you need somebody a little bit bigger, or at least at the same level, or training their ass off. You know, I can see a small guy, a reasonably small guy, maybe 80, 90 kilos, but, you know, training super hard. That motivates me too.
Yeah.
You know, but so you got to be in a gym where everybody trains like, you know, like you want to train. Because otherwise,
Muscle Factory is great for that. I mean,
right.
that's why I feel like that is the #1 gym in Thailand. Not only because
Exactly.
it's a great gym, but it's mostly because of the members that are there. It's if you want to make gains,
Yeah.
feeding off of them.
Right. I mean, and not everybody in there, of course, trains like a madman, but there's usually 2 or 3 people in there that you know go get it. So sometimes you don't see them, and I'll lead the way. I'll lead. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's basically, to sum it up, it's something you got to learn, but you just got to want it, and you got to tap into something that motivates you to bring that intensity to the gym, because doing heavy weight for a lot of reps and time under tension is not easy. You know, you can do it once, but you got to do it week in, week out, year after year, and then after 5 or 10 years, you got a decent body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's longer than an education or you know, it's probably the longest thing you'll do. Getting a nice body takes years, longer than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why everybody's on drugs now, because they want that faster.
All right, Steve, that was great. I think that pretty much sums it up.
Cool.
If people want to check you out, can they check you out on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm not very active. You can find me Vigorous Steve pretty much everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube. I'm in the gym a lot,
Okay.
so you can find me at the Muscle Factory 6 o'clock, usually every day. If you want to talk to me, I'll be there. And if you really want to talk to me, you're gonna have to fly to Thailand. We'll do a workout. I'll take you to a fun, interesting workout session with bands and heavy weight.
Awesome. That sounds freaking sweet.
All right.
All right.
Good talk to you, man. I'll see you soon in Thailand, yeah?
All right. See you later, bro.
Ciao.